Hey, you.
How's it going?
It's
I'm
going
back,
well.
everyone.
Yeah, Eli's here. It's
I've
a new
returned.
episode.
All the guests left, and now it's my turn to steal the spotlight again.
For some reason, I thought you. In my head, I was thinking all the viewers left, and I was go, what? There's no one listening anymore.
Yep, I'm back, and they're like, "Oh God, this guy."
Yeah, so we're just gonna kind of just ramble off and talk about whatever. There's not really a set orientation of what we're gonna do this week. I just wanted to take it back a little bit and do another one with just me and Eli, just to hang out and chat and do something different,
Yeah,
just to keep trying new things.
yeah. We've kind of established who I am and what I'm about, and so we're just kind of ramble. And if you guys aren't about that,
Well,
too
right.
bad.
Yeah,
You're not here.
we're rolling the dice.
Yeah.
It's okay. It's good to roll sometimes.
But yeah, you should definitely hit up Ian if you want to be on this podcast or something like that. I hear he's got another guest coming next week, so
Yes, it'll be fun.
be excited for that.
But don't hit me. You should, contact me via social media. Don't hit me.
Hit him up. That's the millennial jargon of these.
I wonder why. What does that mean? Hit me up.
Let's check out urbandictionary.com, man. That's what I go to when I don't understand the hip lingo of the youngins. What?
How old are you again?
I'm 20.
It's pretty young.
Yeah. So do you have any topics you want to talk about today, Ian?
All I wanted really was I thought about talking about was my blog that I posted last week was about habits and routines and how to get out of those, and that was about all I got. Other than that, there wasn't too much on my mind. I know Eli had some pretty cool stuff. Well, he just showed me a YouTube channel called Yes Theory. That's pretty fucking cool. So
Yeah, so I literally just found them like maybe a little over a month ago, and the video that caught my eye was like throwing. I can actually find it quick, but basically they threw a dart on a map and decided to travel wherever that was. So they blindfolded this guy, turned him around.
what if it's in the ocean?
Well, I think there's an exception. I think they just kind of were like, all right, aim for this, and here's
Nope,
where
we're going to the ocean. We're going. That's
That's
where the dart landed.
Yeah. Well, luckily, or I don't know, unluckily, but they went to sort of like the middle of Missouri in like this very small town. They met this. So basically, they sort of challenged each other to do like things. So one of the challenges was
Isn't that what life is about? Challenging each other to do things.
sure, it definitely makes things a little bit more interesting, because actually just what I was getting to was one of the guys in this Yes Theory group challenged another one to be like, get on a local radio station, and just have a conversation. And initially they were like, I mean, that's probably possible, maybe for like a limited amount of time, for like 10 seconds or whatever. And they ended up having like an hour-long conversation on air that was being broadcast like Puerto Rico and Mexico and the stuff. And it was
Damn.
yeah, that seems wild. Like that seems very intense. I don't know. That would be something hard.
Or really easy because they fucking did it.
Well, yeah.
Let's do it. Let's
well, I
get on a
guess-
radio station.
Well, luckily for the guy who was on air with him spoke a little bit of Spanish, so he had a little bit more luck because it was a Spanish radio station.
Oh,
So
Well,
I can't
hey.
imagine with my.
I know someone who runs a radio station. I could get onto one for in La Crosse, I think, Wisconsin.
Well, aren't you cool?
Yeah, you know Maddie Vorlicek.
Oh, what? She runs a radio station?
Yeah,
Oh,
See, that's what I'm saying. Let's get
Wow.
on it.
I mean, you're the one with big happiness, dude. Spread it out.
Yeah, fair enough.
Go international. Oh, maybe I'm sure
The
it's
two
not international.
states.
Yeah, Wisconsin, Minnesota radio. That's still.
Speaking of Wisconsin, you damn cheeseheads, I'm going to bike. I'm going to bike across Wisconsin in 2 weeks, and I'm really fucking excited. So I'm biking from Minneapolis all the way to Chicago. It's going to be really cool.
How long is the
ride?
The ride, yeah.
We're doing it from like a Saturday to Saturday, or like I guess Saturday to Friday. So it's like 6 days, 7
Okay.
days kind of thing. But we're biking. It's just over 500 miles. We're going to be doing like 70, 80 miles a day.
Wow.
And then, yeah, it's going to be awesome. I'm
What's
so
your-
excited.
What's your route? Are you just going like 94?
Kind of. We're going to follow the river a little bit, and then
Okay.
we're going to go, there's this, I forget the name of the park now, but these really, really cool scenic, like old tunnels that used to be railroad tracks, but now they're all paved over with bike trails, and there were these really famous, huge tunnels.
Mhm.
It's the Sparta Trail, I think is what it's called.
I don't think I've heard of it.
But so we're gonna go see that, and then we're gonna make our way up to Madison, and then hang out there for a day, and then go south into Illinois, and stay in Chicago for one night, and then that Friday afternoon we're getting on a train, the Amtrak train, and we're taking the train all the way back to Minneapolis.
Sounds like fun.
Yeah, I'm so excited.
Yeah.
And then we get back to St. Paul at like 10 a.m. or 10 p.m. Sorry, so the train leaves at like 2 in the afternoon or 3 in the afternoon. Then we get back at 10 at night, and then I'm gonna bike from St. Paul back home because why not?
Why not? Yeah. I mean, if you've gone 500 miles, St. Paul's not that far in
No.
retrospect. So that's cool. I had a bad experience with Amtrak when I went to Yosemite National Park when I was in like 7th grade. So it was like 2010 or 11 or something like that. Yeah, it took us an extra day to get to California than was originally scheduled. So we lost a day of our vacation, and we basically just sat in the middle of Nebraska for way too long. And I was just like,
the train just like wouldn't go.
Oh, I'm sure there was some reason. It wasn't like, it was just like, oh, let's fuck with the people. But yeah, I mean,
the conductor decided he didn't want to leave today.
No, just like crossing his arms. But it's still definitely a fun experience. I got to see all of these new states. Like we went through Utah and like the Salt Flat area.
Is there food on the train?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you would not be stuck on a train for 3 days and not have food. That would be awful. But yeah, they have like a food car. I don't know if you've ever seen like those.
Is there a beer car?
I wasn't allowed on there. I was 13. You bad influence.
Fair enough.
Anyway,
kids have fakes these days.
Yeah, but I'm genuine. Ladies. Oh God, I'm gonna edit half this podcast out.
No, you aren't. Leave it all in. I think it's much better to be, this kind of raw, and like I said before, we're doing something different, so
yeah,
just let it ride. So going back to talking about Yes Theory and that thing, I think it's really cool that they just kind of set up these random challenges that are completely out of their comfort zone and just do it. Like there was one video I was watching where they were asking random strangers to go skydiving with them right now that day. They had like there's a skydiving like time or like schedule they set up for like 3 in the afternoon, and they were asking people at 12 or at noon like, hey, let's go skydiving at 3.
It's like you kind of just gotta go with the flow or change things up a bit and
say yes to life.
Yeah, and so their tagline is like seeking discomfort. They're about, like, if you go to their YouTube channel and read their about description, it says, we believe in challenging what society considers normal. So we seek discomfort to find our own way and fulfill our true calling. And we make videos about it. And so they have, just tons of videos about these sort of challenges that they make for each other. They've gone across different countries in Europe and stuff to do sort of not social experiments, because that has kind of given itself a bad stigma on YouTube, but like genuine social experiments, if you will, because they sort of say like abandoned in Paris with no money for 24 hours. So they rely on the kindness of strangers to help them out. Like if they need food or something, like it kind of seems like begging, but it really kind of shows who people really are and
the real values.
Yeah.
Well, and there was another one I saw, I didn't click on it, but it's like surviving solely off of Tinder. So not even in a sexual way, but just like, connecting with other people online to like live. And
Tinder's definitely built up sort of a sexual
connotation
for itself. And I mean, you can use it for that, but you can also use it for just hanging out with groups of people. Because
well, have you heard of Tinder Social? It's like
I have.
Yeah, it's like a friend thing.
You can like group up with people, and it's like, all right, if you want to hang out with us, swipe right.
Right. It's cool, but I don't think it's working very well. I don't know. It seems really cool. I think it's awesome that they're challenging themselves and putting themselves out there, because that's what I think is really important to everyone's life. You should challenge yourself. You should see what is capable of yourself, because if you don't, then you're not really living a fulfilling life. If you're just kind of, going at 50% or 60% every day for the whole life, why not go 100%?
Right. Like, and last week you talked about with Michael, he said, I heard this quote, like, just try new things.
Yeah.
And that's one thing I wanted to talk about in my own experience that we've briefly talked about before in another one early on. But I went to Los Angeles with a group of musicians to play a couple shows down there. And I'd never done anything like that before. Like we were at rehearsal one day, and it's like, so Eli, what you doing these dates in October? I'm like, I don't know. Why? And he goes, do you want to do some club shows with us in Los Angeles? And I'm like, I didn't really know what to say because that's
Nerve-wracking.
I was like, what? No way. Like at first I was like, all right, what excuse can I have to get out of this? And because I was scared, honestly. And
but well, it's a real thing. Like fear is,
because you're in the car with these guys for 2 days straight driving there. Because I think the car ride on the way there was 30 hours, and we pretty much went to Western Colorado on the first one. And I think on the way back, on the way back, I don't think we stopped.
Wow.
So yeah, we were in the car for an exceptional.
But you learned a lot about each other, huh?
Well, not in the way I think you're insinuating, but yeah, you definitely get to do a lot of cool new stuff. I got to hang out with a bunch of new friends in Los Angeles, go walk around, see the touristy stuff.
So what, question for you, what made you say yes? You said you were very hesitant, you're trying to come up with an excuse. What was the moment that you're like, you know what, why not?
Because I knew that these people were genuine people, they were nice, and I knew that
and they're not going to fuck you over or
yeah,
anything.
they're not like that. And, I can't imagine that most people would do that. And I think I just had to kind of get that in that sort of
mindset,
state of mind. Yeah. Just be like, you know what? People aren't really like that. They're not going to screw me over, or they're not going to, and I got to go for free. I was like, you know what? When is the next opportunity for something like this going to come along? And I mean, on that level, it hasn't since. I mean, it's been about a year, and that's still like one of the coolest things I've got to experience.
So far.
Yeah, so far, definitely.
Going back, when you first told me about the Yes Theory YouTube channel, it made me instantly think of Yes Man. I don't know if you've seen that movie.
I've seen clips with Jim Carrey.
Yeah, it's really funny, but it's just, it relates so much because, it's like about just, it's not about saying yes to everything, but it's just about like saying yes to things that scare you and are outside of your comfort zone, like, going to Los Angeles or that kind of thing, or living off of $0 in a foreign country.
Yeah,
like
that's on a whole new level. I went a few states over with the people that I have known for a little bit, but these dudes, granted, they're a group of friends that have known each other for a couple of years, but
they were completely strangers when they met up, which is insane.
That's true. Well, I mean, so is everyone.
Okay, fair point.
Wait, what's the thing that they say? It's
the thing that they say
that there's a thing that they say. That thing. They say that a stranger is just a friend that you haven't met yet. I think that's the quote that they say in their thing. So that they'll throw like a backyard party or something like that and invite strangers to his birthday party or type of thing. And
are those friends going to become strangers again after they leave?
Well, that's the thing. They've actually had repeat people just show up, and like they've come into their lives again, and they don't like completely cut off all contact. I'm sure they're open to, they're not just doing it for the content. I think they're genuinely nice people, and which is cool. Like they've made connections with like an artist, and he helped them actually, like he met these people at this thing where they're like, all right guys, do you want to go skinny dipping with us? And there's just like a random thing. And then later on, this same dude turned out to be like a profound like child artist or something like that, and he helped them redo their backyard.
What?
Yeah, he like designed like a sort of artsy thing for their backyard with like paint and like these.
Oh, you're talking about like a real like painting artist.
Yeah,
I didn't know if you're talking about like a musical artist.
No, yeah. But
that term is it's used so broadly nowadays.
That's true.
What kind of artist is he talking about?
Yeah. But that's the type of thing. Like people, you may not be best friends with them and hang out with them every day, but they're still, friends. Quote.
You just thought that people could see you using asterisks.
Well, I gotta do it for you.
Fair enough.
People aren't the only audience.
True. Although, am I an audience if I'm in the conversation?
Whatever, man.
Just
go with it.
What is an audience? Does the audience include the two people talking?
I don't know.
Yeah, what happened to hit me up?
Oh, I looked it up, and it says a way of getting connections to demand something to call. The quotes are on Urban Dictionaries. You got a bag you can hit me up with? Hit me up with that shit. Hit me up later tonight. I spelled tonight wrong. To give someone a phone call, instant message, email. Just, hit them up. You know what it means.
All right. Well, you're looking that up. I want to talk about my routines and habits and things because I think that correlates quite a bit to this, yes mentality. Because if you want to switch up your routine, you want to do something different, you want to change out your habits, I think it's a very good thing to do, but I think it's very hard. It's something I'm learning. We get into these very easily like slip into these habits and routines and that just becomes our life. And then we real after like a couple years go by, we're like, holy shit, I've just done this for 2 years straight. And it's very hard to get out of it and try and change it and do something.
That's like
new.
that whole high school thing, like oh
Yeah.
man, I just did that for 4 years. Oh god, where's my life gone?
Well, you got to do it for another 4 with a bigger school.
Well, I did it for 2 and look where I am.
Sitting at the kitchen table with a mic to your face.
Yeah, dude, doing cool stuff.
But yeah, so I think it's a cool thing to do, and it takes a lot of effort, is what I mentioned in my blog. Like you have to be very disciplined. That's one thing I didn't touch on. Like to want to change and have a new routine, you have to have a lot of discipline to yourself and be like, I started waking up at 6 in the morning every day, and now I'm going to the gym constantly just because I wanted to change my routine and I wanted to be more productive. So now when I get up in the morning and my alarm goes off, I don't want to get up at 6 a.m. and I don't go to sleep till like 11 or 12 at midnight because I don't get home until 10:30, 11.
Yeah, it's adapting to what you want to do next. So you've said you've wanted to start working out and stuff like that in the morning. So you have to make time for that, and making time for that adjusts your whole schedule. So waking up earlier means you probably go to bed a little bit earlier, so you're not up as late. And what would you do normally if you're up late? Maybe you're like doing writing and stuff like that. I guess I don't really know. Do you have specific writing time set aside?
I mean, I usually, when I get home from work, I'll usually make some food because I just get home from biking and I'm like, my body needs the energy.
Just starving, yeah.
Yeah. So I'll eat a little bit, and then depending on, sometimes I'll just go to sleep right away if I'm really tired, or I'll write a little bit. Sometimes I've stayed up a little bit later and have a couple beers or like work outside in the garage on my bike and fix some things or whatnot. But I mean, it varies. And especially when school starts up in the fall, I'm not going to be up late at all. I'm just going to go to sleep right away when I get home.
You really have to be strict with because if you lose sleep, then you lose a little bit of that, edge. You're not going to be as excitable. You're going to be this guy who's tired all the time. You're not going to feel great. I know that like losing sleep is definitely something you don't want to have happen in your
living habits.
I mean, yeah, it can affect your diet as well, I guess. But yeah, living habits.
Sure.
Yeah.
We'll go with that.
Yeah.
That's one thing I've noticed talking about diet. So I've been eating like way healthier recently, and I've noticed such an insane amount of like increase in my energy. Like I just have more energy to do shit all the time, which is insane. Like,
that's great.
Yeah, I love it. It's cool.
What would you recommend so like what kind of diet is it?
I don't know.
Do you just kind of
just
generally healthier foods, just like...
Well, I'll give you, here's like a typical weekday for me for my meals.
Okay.
At breakfast, I get up, I'll have, it depends on the day, but sometimes I've been having bagels. So I'll have a bagel with an egg, a sausage, and some cheese. And then other times I'll make like scrambled eggs and then some toast or something. But those are the 2 breakfast meals usually.
That sounds good.
Yeah, it's really good. And then I'll go work out for an hour or an hour and a half, and then I'll come home, and then I'll have a protein shake or a smoothie, and then I'll kind of get some work done or do something in the morning, do little things around the house or whatever. And then for lunch, I'll make a salad, and sometimes I'll have a sandwich, or I'll make some pasta sometimes. It all depends, but usually it's pasta or a sandwich and a salad, but the salad is always there. And then for dinner, when I'm at work, I'll bring a bunch of snacks. So I have like granola bars, almonds, some beef jerky for some protein. And then I'll have a PB&J and some yogurt, some Greek yogurt. And that's my meals every day, basically, during the week.
Cool. Pretty consistent.
Yeah.
Okay. I suppose when you're shopping, you're like, okay, you're very... And like, the first, at least when you start living on your own, you go, what am I really going to eat? What is
exactly
instead of what's going to like, sit in the fridge, like, not get touched very often, that kind of thing. So you kind of really regulate your sort of meals, you get this many because you're going to have like one a day type thing.
Yeah, totally. That's what, like, I'll buy like so many yogurts when I go, because I'm like, okay, I'm going to eat one yogurt like this day, so I need some for the whole week or whatever. And
do you ever eat like just be like, oh, I want a second one, but then that means I won't have one for tomorrow. Type
Yeah.
thing. Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And also, like, I'll buy. So I've been eating a bunch more apples recently, and I'll bring those to work too.
Is it true that they keep the doctor away?
I don't know. So far, so good. I mean, I went to the dentist, but is that a doctor?
Well, you might offend the dentists who went to school for 8 years.
I suppose it starts with a D, so.
I don't think that's how it works, Ian.
Yeah, I don't know. It's crazy. But I've cut out like the food groups. I've stopped eating out as much. I don't like go out to eat. I don't eat fast food as much, or like if all anymore.
I'm sure you save a lot of money on that too.
Yeah, totally. And I don't drive as much either, so I save tons of money on gas.
Yeah. So last week, Ian was telling me that he's tried to sort of bike more places around. He said, like, you know, if it's within like 10 miles, it's bikeable for him. So why not? It's saving on gas. It's
Totally.
you know, helping the environment go green.
And it's just more fun. It's a different perspective. Like,
Yeah.
instead of, you sit and then you drive,
Yeah.
and then you sit and then you drive, and then you get out and then you're at the place. Like when you're biking, it's like you're actually
enjoying the journey.
Yeah, you're in the environment. You're just on Earth,
Yeah.
living, which is cool.
That seems such like a hippie thing to say. It's
Damn
just like,
straight.
you're just on Earth, Dan. You're just living. But yeah, that totally makes sense. You know, sometimes the hippies are right.
I think it will, because when you're on a bike riding to a destination, you're definitely living in that present moment. If you're in a car driving to a location, I bet you probably 4 out of 10 times you could be just zoned out and you're just on autopilot kind of
Yeah,
thing.
because I definitely, when you start driving more and more,
Yeah.
you're just like, as long as I don't crash, I'm good. And
Yeah.
there's like sort of the subconscious things you pay attention to. Like I remember learning about in driver's ed a long time ago is your eyes are like darting all these different places because you're looking out for like potential hazards and stuff like that. Like
Yeah.
you out of the corner, like you use your peripheral vision so much just
You're
for like
looking at
cross
everything.
traffic. You're looking at so many different things. You're not focusing on like, I mean, there's a level of safety that you have to be aware of on the bike as well.
Do you look at your mirrors a lot when you drive?
My rear view mirror, yeah.
Okay.
Why? Is that something
No,
that
I was just curious.
you think people lack in, or?
I do sometimes.
Oh.
Like, I mean, because I don't look in my mirrors. I always look over my shoulder. I'm that kind of person. But
Which helps too, because
Yeah.
there's blind spots and stuff like that. But just as long as, you do it in a safe manner, like, you're not tailgating someone, you turn around and all of a sudden you're,
yeah, like about to kill someone
Yeah.
or run into someone.
yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm stoked. So I'm changing my lifestyle and my routines, and it's been going really well so far.
Mm-hmm.
I'm only about like maybe 2 weeks into the process or 2.5 weeks into it, but so far I'm digging it. My body's definitely taking a toll on it though. Like I'm so much more sore than I was, and
Yeah.
my legs are always sore.
Yeah.
Like-
Well, at least with the biking, you have a little tolerance built up and all that stuff. So
Yeah, true. And it's kind of nice because I'll take like after I'm working out at the gym all day, or not all day, but like after I go 3 times a week or 4 times a week, and then I'm biking during the day, it's like I'm working different muscle groups, so my body's not like, I guess it is getting more exhausted, but at the same time it lets my other muscles rest because I'm using different muscle groups.
Mm-hmm.
So that's cool. Yeah, man. I don't know. Life is good. I'm excited.
That's great.
Yeah.
What would you say, because we talk about having routines and stuff, what is like, how do you know if you're getting stagnant? Like, what's the...
Well, I think I think you'll know. You personally will know when you need to change. Because there's like, I know for a long time, like I was saying earlier, I was in a very mundane, just kind of daily routine that was just like boring and very, straightforward. And then I was like, I'm not getting the same amount of energy, same amount of fulfillment out of life as I used to be. Something needs to change. There needs to be some sort of change.
Okay.
And then now here I am, and I'm fucking loving it.
That's great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think it's up to the person. It's case by case, but I think you'll know, and you'll definitely there's not like, you've been doing this for 3 months, you need to do something different right away. I think you'll
Yeah.
get the feeling and you'll understand.
Internalize it. Yeah, because I've been thinking about, I've been doing very similar days the past few months, at least since school ended. I've been working these
In the
internships
intern.
and stuff, and I mean, not that they're all boring. There's definitely a couple boring days out there that are
Definitely.
just very just
That just happens.
yeah. But it's not like it's a terrible thing because I'm still learning a ton. I get to meet awesome people.
Right. Are you dealing
Some
with,
awesome people.
are they new people all the time or?
Not all the time. Sometimes they're repeat people, but
Okay.
the personalities I get to,
Vibe off of?
yeah, like know who they are a little bit more each time.
Mhm.
Just, it's kind of like making a friend.
Well, yeah, strangers into friends.
Yeah, even though they're technically clients and stuff for these studios
You're
that I
still
work
building
at.
a relationship with them.
Right. And that's beneficial for, anyone who's like a potential, I
Mhm.
could be working with these people in the future. Who knows?
Right.
Fingers crossed.
Why does everyone say cross their fingers? What is it like? What benefit is
You're gonna
this
have to
doing?
Urban Dictionary everything in this episode, Ian.
But question everything.
Okay,
It's
let's.
serious. Like, how did that start? Oh, cross your fingers. That's going to make a wish. Cross your fingers. Why?
Okay, let's see what Urban Dictionary says. Oh, couldn't find crossing fingers.
Doesn't exist.
Doesn't exist. You just made that up. Crossing your fingers.
Well, if you think about it, a lot of this world is just made up. Like, we created a lot of these things. A lot of these, like, this desk we're on, these computers we have, this is all just someone's idea.
Yeah.
That's wild.
It says Charles Panatti believes that the act of crossing one's fingers as a sign of luck or making a wish traces back to pre-Christian times, speculating that
So it's
cross
religious.
that the cross was a symbol of unity and benign spirits dwelt at the intersection point.
I learned something today.
There you go.
So crossing your fingers is based off of Christian religion.
I guess so. I mean, I think a lot of sort of
Hope-based.
superstitious
Mhm.
sort of like you don't want bad things to happen or very
Wishful thinking.
religious based. There's stories and religious texts that say if you do this, and I think that they're saying just don't take the chance of letting bad things happen to you or bad things happen to those around you. So maybe doing these things can't hurt, so why not do them? Basically,
Sure.
I think is sort of the reasoning why sometimes people do that, like knocking on wood and stuff.
I knock on wood every day.
Yeah, it's a very strange thing to someone
That-
who may have never heard of it.
Very
but it's
true.
like,
That is the one thing I will always do. Always knock on wood.
and where did you come? Like, where'd you hear that? Where did you first hear that? Do you think?
Someone did it around me, and then I don't know what it was, but someone did it, and then like it worked, or like whatever we were talking about, like we prevented that from happening, or it did happen, or whatever. And then
Or would it have happened regardless?
see, that's the thing. I don't know.
And that's why people don't take the chance of not doing it, because they don't know. They don't think that.
Well, it's also a conversation starter sometimes when someone says something, and then I always knock on wood. They're like,
Yeah.
"Oh, you're one of those."
Oh, you're one of those guys.
Damn straight.
Yeah.
Well, there's, like you were saying before, there's no harm in not knocking on the wood, so why not?
Yeah. It's so I looked up knocking on wood. It says the first possible origin of knocking on wood is that it's much more laid back version of the ruckus that pagan Europeans raised to chase away evil spirits from their homes and trees to prevent them from hearing about and ruining a person's good luck.
What?
So you're banishing demons from your good luck, Ian, every time
Perfect.
you knock on wood. So
Lovely.
nice job. That's
I hope you can hear that.
that's from mentalfloss.com. So
You
There's
gotta
our
make
sources.
Sure you floss those mental capacities and airwaves or channels,
oh my
whatever.
god, this is such an awkward podcast.
Not even, dude. I think it's gonna be really good. I hope they like it because it's all over the place. There's, it's jokes. It's whatever.
Yeah.
Do you have any routines that? Well, I guess you talked a little bit about that, but is there anything that you've been changing in your life recently, or that you want to change?
I've definitely been trying to hit people up to do collaborations on music projects recently.
Oh yeah, you told me you just finished a song last night with.
Yeah, a buddy of mine, David, who I went to school with for audio production, he came over, spent most of the day, and we worked on finishing up a track that we've been working on for the past couple times that he's been over. And we just finished it, and it's on SoundCloud. So I'm just gonna shamelessly plug his SoundCloud. SoundCloud. It's his name is PHNTM, and the song is called Red, and that's just something. So
Like Taylor Swift.
Does she have a song called Red?
Yeah, it's an album, bruh.
Oh, I guess I'm not hip with that.
This is like 6 years ago or 4
Oh.
years ago. It was a while ago.
When have you ever known to me listening to Taylor Swift?
Fair enough.
But yeah, it's, I sort of helped with the composition of the music a little bit. He did all the lyrics, but I I recorded the song. I did a fair amount of the mixing. I edited it all together, and I think it came out pretty cool for one of my first songs that I've done solo. So
Yeah, that's awesome.
I'm pretty pumped about that.
I was gonna say you probably should be like,
Yeah.
you created the entire thing. Well, obviously, like you created the logistics of everything, and you put it all together.
Yeah.
Which is
And
insane.
that's something I really like to do with a couple people. It's not always as fun when you
Mhm.
don't get to sort of vibe off of someone and create
Mhm.
something totally unique and interesting, which it comes to a point where if you have too many people working on it, then there's too many voices going like
Oh.
this, and that can throw it off, and like people aren't as happy with the finished project, which
Mhm.
I found.
So simplicity's best.
Yeah, definitely. Too many cooks in the kitchen type of thing.
And they're
think
gonna
that's a
fuck
saying.
up the recipe.
Yeah. So to speak. But yeah, I'm excited about that, and I'm really glad it turned out the way it did. If you guys listen to it, which I hope you do, feel free to give me feedback. If there's any way that you can come into contact with me, feedback is always appreciated, as long as it's constructive and not just hate. Just like,
Well,
it's shitty.
Okay, well there's a question for you. Is that still constructive feedback?
If I would prefer it to be in a again, like I was saying, like if you'd say like, oh, this is just awful. I mean, why is it awful?
Mhm.
Is the mix not so good? Is something up with the vocal mix? Is something up with the instrumental?
Well,
What
maybe they
you
just don't
about
like
it?
you, so they just want to hate it.
That is very common as well. There's definitely personalities that people don't like. I don't.
But that should also just fuel the fire, Like
Sure.
when people tell me that I can't do something, it just makes me want to do it that much more. They tell
Sure.
me I'm not going to succeed. It's like, I'll prove you wrong.
Yeah.
Just wait.
I'm gonna show you how great this is gonna be.
Exactly.
So it's sort of a way to spite them, but also be not. Well, spite is kind of a hate word on its own. Just like you do something on
Mhm.
purpose to
You just want to prove them
against
wrong.
proving them wrong. Yeah, but if you do it to better yourself rather than
Mhm.
specifically to prove them wrong, you want to make something great. You don't want to
Mhm.
just prove someone wrong because they hate you.
Right.
Yeah.
Which is also interesting too, though. It's like we spend so much with these negative like points of feedback. We spend so much time focusing on it. It's like, oh, they hate my stuff. Well, let's
Mhm.
go make something better, so maybe they won't hate it. But who cares
Yeah.
about those people? Why not care about the people who like it?
Right. Have you received any sort of unfavorable
Yeah.
feedback on some of your stuff?
Totally.
Do you think you notice that more than the positive stuff? Do you think that kind of lingers in your mind more?
Well, I think earlier on when I first started, it resonated a lot more. But now, not that many people talk about me or what I do. Like I
Mhm.
don't get much interaction with my content, which is a bummer. But
Yeah.
hopefully there will be more. Please give
One
me,
day.
yeah, comment something, anything.
Like-
I don't care what it is. Just
Yeah,
Say something.
There's so many people that are just kind of anonymous.
Yeah.
Which is fair, but it's also nice to be acknowledged in
definitely.
a way by the people that listen to your content, which
Mhm.
is
Well, and it's like I don't know what they like. I don't know if
Yeah.
you're gonna like this bullshit podcast
Yeah.
or if you like the interviews. You know
Right.
what I mean?
I think the interviews are a lot better in my opinion because it's interesting. You're learning something about someone new, and yeah.
But no, I totally think the negative it's much easier to get stuck on those comments and on those pieces of feedback because they do have more of an impact on you because you think about it and you're like, oh, well, this person hates it.
Mhm.
I don't want them to hate it. I want people to like it.
Yeah.
But at the same,
You can't win everyone over.
Yeah.
Which is sort of a
Mhm.
hard truth that you sometimes have to come with. Not everyone's going to love you. And that seems
That's
kind of
why-
an egotistical way to put it. But
it's true. And
Yeah.
the way I look at it when I think of that kind of thing, it's like, okay, well, I'm not going to please everyone. I might as well just please myself. What do
Mhm.
I want to do?
what makes you the happiest?
Exactly.
What drives you the most?
And then eventually, after I keep doing that for so long, then other people will just like, the same things that I like.
Sure.
There is going to be those people. So.
people come into sort of drawn towards your personality.
Mhm.
I know that I sort of the happier someone is, or like the more
Mhm.
energy that they have, you can sort of sense that. I
Mhm.
think the more people you're bound to draw in.
Right. And there's going to be like, people with that similar personality.
Hmm.
But yeah, it's definitely a process. It definitely takes a lot of effort to not let those things get to you. But
Yeah. What could we talk about? We could talk about. Oh God, this is like the first podcast. I'm getting flashbacks.
Okay, the first podcast was way worse though. Let's just get that across.
Is it?
It was so shitty. Like, you got to see the improvements, from episode 1 to what are we on 11 now, and it's definitely been a significant amount of improvement. So from 10 to 20 is going to be even more so, and it's just
I think just as long as I'm
constant
not on
growth.
it as much. I just feel so like out of the loop because you've been doing like a whole streak of these interviews, and I just feel like maybe this episode is probably not, honestly, I feel like it's probably not going to do as well because you've been on a streak of these interesting interviews and stuff. You've been learning about people and how they deal with aspects of their life and what they can do to make happiness and what they have done. And now we're just kind of rambling about nothing, and I just feel like because we talked about me, and I just feel like I'm not as interesting, or the audience already kind of knows.
But I think it's good to, take a step back and just relate back to, like those interviews and those guests are really cool. And it is but I think over time, it gets boring because it's a lot of the same questions, the same kind of answers. I mean, they're all personable in their own way and their own personality. But
what we could talk about with the audience, we can
you can't talk with the audience. They can't talk back to us.
They could be a part of it. So like, this would be a comment thing, so you guys can offer comments and stuff while we talk about this. So, Ian, I have a challenge for you for the next string of interviews to come at it from a different angle.
What's the angle? What's the pitch?
Well, that's the thing is, you've been asking these sort of straightforward questions about like happiness in general, but how do you find it? Where does it come from? Like, where do you, and I think the more interesting questions where you talk about life in general is more interesting.
Okay.
You get sort of a quick summarization in an hour about these interesting guests. Yeah. And I would just challenge you to come from a different angle, try new stuff so it doesn't stagnate. You want your audience to keep
well, I know actually I heard a lot of really positive feedback about the last one that I did with Michael, and a lot of people really want us to do a second podcast, so maybe we'll do that sometime in the future.
Ooh.
So that'll be cool. But I think that's a good idea. I just don't know what angle to hit. I don't know what's going to be the best approach because I'm still trying to figure out what exactly this podcast is going to be. What is the core structure? Like, I think the guest is cool, but I don't, and I think like I do want it to relate to happiness and to life as a whole because that's what we're all living.
That's what your whole blog is about. That's what your website is about and all that stuff. That's, you do want to stay true to your roots, essentially. Yes. You want to, that's
My
why
roots
people
run deep with happiness.
People are drawn towards you and they want to see content because that's what it's about. They didn't come to see something that you never talked about before. So that makes sense.
But I don't want to keep repeating myself constantly, which is one thing I do feel like I do sometimes.
Yeah. Well, that can come with it since, we're still starting out. You learn as you go on. You said we've advanced far from episode 1 to 11 and
well, yeah, it's 10 episodes.
Well, I think that's true. I don't know that I have in my podcasting.
I definitely think so. And also you're more behind the scenes, like you do all the editing, all the recording, which is sick, and I appreciate that very much. But
yeah, dude,
it's insane. Like I can tell you're probably way quicker at it, and you already like you set everything up. And
I've definitely developed a system. I basically just listen to it over again and edit on the fly. And then if there's any of those awesome jokes that you sometimes tell, I'll put in a little sound effect. I don't know. I put in a Price is Right thing at one point.
Yeah, that was funny. Just don't copyright it. Yeah, it's not big enough. No one cares about us.
Yeah, like you don't see YouTube taking down the tiny channels with the. Yeah. We're
just pawns. It's a big. Oh, here's a good. I was talking to Eli about this just before we started recording. So there's a fish. Actually, there's 3 fish in this bowl. There's an older fish and there's 2 younger fish. The older fish swims by the 2 young fish and asks, "Hey, how's the water today, boys?" And then the 2 fish keep swimming. They just nod off. And then the younger fish looks over and asks the other younger fish, "What's water?"
He goes, "What the hell's water?" If you think about it in a philosophical way, you understand that the older fish learned what water is. And at what point do you think in his life that he was like, that's what is around me? And I don't know.
Well, and here's the other question. How do you differentiate between a good water and bad water? I mean, it's just fucking water.
What?
He asked, how is the water? I mean...
it's like, how's the weather? because it's their surroundings. It's how they stay alive. It's, like you go outside and it's sunny out. You say, how's the weather? The weather's looking good because it's nice out and I'm outside and
But then
enjoying it.
Yesterday it was pretty rainy and gloomy, but I loved it because I was biking everywhere,
Well,
so the rain felt good and it was
maybe
nice.
it was a matter of like an opinion, like how's the weather for you? Maybe that was the question. We're getting very philosophical on this interesting fish question.
Yeah, going back to what you were saying, I think it's, the older you get, the longer time you have on this earth, I think you do have a more of an understanding of what this whole life is about and what all these, our awareness of everything is going on. So I think that's really valuable. But I do think that some people get old or go through life and they still have no idea what water is. They don't understand the grand scheme of everything, which is interesting.
Sure, they're very kind of tunnel visioned into their own life, and they don't take a step back and look into their surroundings, if you will. That's definitely an interesting thing. Was that meant to be a like sort of a philosophical type
Probably.
thing? Was that because that video that you showed me?
Yeah,
was that sort of what it was based on?
Well, no, there was it's like a 9-minute video, and that's just like the first minute.
Oh, okay.
But it was talking about, we every day we wake up and we have a choice. You have a choice we're going to choose to let the day like have a shitty day, or we can choose to have a good day, I don't know if you've gone grocery shopping before, like,
oh yeah.
So you go out and like you're sitting in the long grocery line or whatever, and you're just like pissed off because the line's taking forever and you just want to go home and eat or whatever, like the case may be.
Honestly, I don't think of it like that. I feel like I'm a very in the now type person. Like I'm enjoying what I do, or I don't enjoy what I'm doing at that present time.
Do you enjoy standing in line at the grocery store for 20 minutes?
You make something out of it. You sort of get into a mindset of saying like, all right, this is reality for me right now. What can I do to make it not gross and like, ugh, no one wants to be here for half an hour while someone's checking out 100 items in their cart and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So you make something out of it. I don't know. Maybe you talk to the people around you and say like, oh, this, right? I don't know. Because I had to go shopping for my boss last week and pick up a few items. So I went to the store and was like, oh, where is half of this shit? And, I was getting a little frustrated.
Ran around the store 30 times.
I was just
trying
like
to
doing
find it.
circles and stuff. And it was just in like the corner of one of the shelves and like, oh my God. I was like
You
looking
walked
around
past
this
it like
aisle.
4 times.
Yeah, exactly. That was exactly what happened. It's weird that you know that.
I've done that before with
Yeah.
other things.
Yeah. And that's,
I think everyone has probably.
yeah. And I felt a little self-conscious because I was like, what am I doing? Like, I can't find what I'm looking for.
You look around like a lost child looking for
I
his mom
I was
or
like,
something.
Mom, help. But you have fun while you do it, and then it doesn't seem so bad.
Yeah, like the free samples. Those are always nice.
Well, they didn't have any free samples here.
Ah.
Yeah. That's a bummer.
But yeah, I don't know. It's definitely, it can be hard sometimes when, you've had maybe a hard day at work or something, or there's some stuff going on in your life and you just want to be home and you want to relax, but you have things that you need to get done. You have errands that you need to run. So it can be tough sometimes to appreciate that you're going to be fine and it's just the moment that you're living in and you have to make the best of it.
Yeah. And I think that's something that's often overlooked is, people, it's like, oh, make the best of a bad situation. But you can really do things in subtle ways that'll actually make a situation that's mundane or just like not exciting better. Like I can't, because on the spot, and I feel like I can't come up with the greatest reason, but it's definitely like if you just were kind of sit down and think of it, or you put yourself in that kind of situation, it's not actually as bad as people might think it is.
No, definitely not. When you mentioned spots, it reminds me of our high school news that we used to have.
When did I say spots?
Well, you said on the spot, and it made me think of spots.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
I was, but yeah, I was really curious. I wanted to see if I could find any of those old videos because I remember I was on.
They have them.
Do they?
Yeah, they have archives.
Okay, because I really wanted to upload a couple of those because I was like insane amount of positivity. I was like, it looks like I was literally on crack.
Ian was just like, "What's up, everyone?" Like, just like
Yeah, I don't
over
know.
the top.
I don't know if it was healthy, but
But I mean, it was always exciting and fun to watch. Like,
it was what I was.
the classic anchors are just like, this is what's happening right now. And Ian was there kind of threw a wrench in the whole thing and be like, this is my take on what we're doing. And it was cool to see a different personality.
It was definitely different, that's for sure.
Yeah.
It was definitely different.
You're pretty damn different, Ian.
Well, hey, all the best ones are. Words of Dr. Seuss, you got to be odd to be number one.
2 odds always make an even, or something like that.
I guess it's true.
Dude, this is gonna get edited out. Just that line right there, and then this what I'm talking about right now. That's gone. I can already tell you that for sure. That things are being edited out in my mind as we speak.
You got to leave some of it in, though.
I am the podcast god.
You're not a rap god?
Rap god. No, I am absolutely not a rap god. I feel so bad for the audience right now.
Yeah, me too.
I'm sorry, guys.
This is a really bad...
It'll be so good next week. I'm so sorry.
What are we at now for time? Should we just...
We're at 48 minutes.
We should call it.
Definitely going to be a 45-minute podcast. There's enough to be edited out.
Yeah.
So how do we want to end this?
All right. Well, thank you guys. I appreciate you suffering through this podcast with us. It was a pleasure. Hopefully I didn't kill you too much. Go outside, do what you love. Don't care what other people think of you. Just fucking live your dream. I mean, do what you want to do. Why not?
Have fun with what you're given and
say yes.
Yeah, that's something that we talked about at the beginning. So, seek discomfort, if you will. Like, try stuff that makes you scared.
Yeah, I'm going skydiving in a month. What the fuck?
Dude, spoilers. Do you want me to bleep that?
No, I mean, I don't care.
I can. Just let me know.
No, it's no big deal.
Okay.
But yeah, so that's insane. I would never in my entire life would have thought I'd be going skydiving.
Yeah.
Like, I hate heights. I get scared on the 3rd floor of Mall of America. That's a mall.
Yeah,
and
like at the rotunda thing. It's
yeah.
like looking down, you're like...
No, I can't even... I don't want to be close enough to the edge to look down.
Yeah.
I hate heights.
There's something about a certain level of just uneasiness, like in your feet. It just feels like you got to stay grounded, and it's weird that you're up so high.
Well, yeah, I don't know. Why not? It's something, just push yourself out of your comfort zone because fuck it. Do something.
Yeah.
All right. See you later, guys.
Bye, everyone. Thanks for watching, listening. Sometimes the hippies are right.